So let us first start with the discussion on that what is the residential status. Okay. Now, residents and non-residents according to FEMA 99 are defined with certain objectives, which I will be talking to you. There are certain objectives which are very different from the objectives of Income Tax Act. Income Tax Act, for example, Income Tax Act has different objectives, so their definition is different. So FEMA has its own definition of who is a resident and who is non-resident. So we'll be talking about that part. Okay. Now, who is a resident is well defined in section 2 of FEMA in the subcategory here, and it says that the persons who are residing in India for more than 182 days in the last financial year, note this under quotes, that last financial year, they are the residents. But they does not include those persons who have already gone out of India in the current financial year for the purpose of, for example, employment, for the purpose of setting up their business outside. So they are no more residents if they are going for these purposes. And what are these purposes? These purposes indicate the intentions. Intention is very important. Now, note this particular point, that intention is very important in FEMA to define resident. Their intention is to stay outside of India for a uncertain period. So it is not defined that how long they will be staying outside India. So if somebody is going for employment, if somebody is going for business purpose, in most cases, it is not clear that how long they will be staying, or maybe they will be staying perpetually outside India. So they are the section 2 defines that these are the residents. There are certain more conditions which I will be discussing with you. There are certain people who were non-resident earlier, but they came to India to stay here. Now their intention is to stay here for a uncertain period, for a long time. Their intention is for the purpose of employment, for the purpose of setting up some business activity or some kind of profession or some vocation. The non-resident Indians, they came to India for this purpose, or even foreign citizens. They can be even foreign citizens. So they may not be necessarily Indian people of Indian origin. They can be anybody who come to India for a long stay for the purpose of FEMA. They are treated as residents. Or the companies who come to India, they set up their headquarters or branch offices and they bring their staff. The business entity, body corporate, which is incorporated in India, their intention is to stay in India for an uncertain period, and they becomes the resident. And branches or agencies of non-residents, the people who are non-resident but they have branches and agencies in India, they are also becomes the resident entities. So these are some of the highlights of section 2, which defines defines who is resident. So let me explain whatever I have discussed little bit. Some explanation is required in whatever I have said. So let us see, if a person stayed in India during 2001, 2002 for less than 182 days, he will not be resident during 2002, 2003, even if he resides in India for more than 182 days in the current year. So what is relevant is the preceding year, not the current year in FEMA. So it is very different from the Income Tax Act, where the important focus is on the current year in the Income Tax Act. But in the case of FEMA, the previous year is more important. Now, second explanation is that even if the person is a foreign citizen, if he has not left India for any of the aforesaid purposes, which means with the intention to go out of India for employment or for business, with the intention for uncertain period during 2002-3, he would also be considered a resident of India if he meets the condition of 182 days in the previous financial year. So FEMA does not differentiate between the Indians and the foreign citizens for the purpose of definition of resident in India. Here I just want to tell you one more thing, is that, sorry, that they may not be permanently resident, but they are resident. They may not be permanently resident. So I will explain this concept also later to you. Now let us do one exercise. I will leave it. I will give the answer at the end of the presentation. So I just want to read it out, this exercise, for you to try your mind that what should be the answer. Mr. M. Shah had resided in India during the financial year 2015-16. He left India on 1st August 2016 for United States for pursuing higher studies for 3 years. What would be his residential status during financial year 2016-17 and also during the year 2018-19? So I leave this. You can note down if you wish. You can note down this particular problem and you can keep the answer. At the end of the presentation, I will give you the answer on this. Now let us also look at another exercise. Please focus on this particular exercise also. There is a imaginary company called Tokia, which is a Japanese company having several business units all over the world. It has a robotic unit with its headquarters in Mumbai and has a branch office in Singapore. Now, the Mumbai office is the headquarters, which controls the branch office also of the robotic unit, which is based in Singapore. So, what would be the residential status of the robotic unit in Mumbai and that of the Singapore branch? So please note down, if you can note down this particular problem, and I will ask the answer from you. And if you are not able to answer, then I will explain the answer for this problem also, this exercise. Okay. So now let us go to the third exercise. There are only 3 exercises for this section, so I will quickly explain this particular exercise. You also can note down. This is also very interesting exercise. Miss Sophia is a British citizen and is an air hostess with British Airways. She flies for 12 days in a month and thereafter breaks for 18 days. During the break period, she is accommodated by her employer in London, which is normally the city where the airways is headquartered. However, for some peculiar security consideration, she was based in Mumbai in a particular financial year, which is the last financial year. And during the last financial year, she was based in Mumbai and she was also accommodated at Mumbai during the break time. So 12 days she was flying and 18 days she was in Mumbai, and she stayed in Mumbai for more than 182 days. So the reasons are many, because it's a British Airways, it's an airline, and they had different reasons and security concerns because of which her break period had to be in Mumbai. So kindly drive your mind to find the answer on this problem, that what would be her residential status as per FEMA. So I will look for the answers at the end of the presentation from you, and we will discuss on these 3 exercises.